we think having this one thing is super underrated. And we're going to give you the reasons why we think it's underrated and why it's important if you can actually acquire a property with one of these. So let's go. Hi guys, welcome back to Hillside Homesteading. It's your girl Salisha. Jessie is with me today and we're going to be talking about the importance of having a stream or some kind of flowing body of water on your homestead.
Yeah, having a body of water that passes through your property is one of the most underrated things to have, in my opinion, because not only do we have access to fresh running water, and it's not stagnant pond water, constant flowing water, and pretty fast moving water. And the faster the water moves, the fresher the water is, the cleaner it is. So not only will you have access to clean water, for example, on our property, we have a creek that runs through our property, and there are salmon, trout, bass, pike, perch, catfish, almost every species of fish that is in Ontario will pass through our stream. And even coho salmon, which is hard to find, especially in like this part of Ontario that we live in, like living south.
We don't have to go take a boat and go out deep into the lake to catch fish. It's literally right here in our backyard. So it's really cool that we can catch so many different varieties of fish literally in my backyard. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to get dressed up. I don't have to prepare. I literally grab my rod and a thing of worms and we can head down the hill and catch an abundance of food.
Yeah. Not only do we have fresh water, but we have a food supply that is constant on our property. So let's say, for example, there is an issue with the food supply, or there is a power outage and you are limited to the amount of food you can get. We can walk down our hill, go to the stream, and catch trout, salmon, bass, perch.
As much as we want to, because it's private property. It backs into private property. So that is our property. I mean, we can catch whatever we want pretty much whenever we want. So it's really, really cool that way. And thinking back to during the pandemic, we had to line up to go to the grocery store. We live in Canada, so we were under very draconian rules. Really strict rules. So we had to line up to go to the grocery store. Remember the 6 feet apart little thingies, like it was crazy. And some days I just didn't want to go line up at the grocery store. So if I wanted to get more salmon for my freezer, guess what? I'm just going to go down the hill, catch the salmon, come back in, clean it, bag it, and freeze it. And I have enough salmon to last me for months. I could catch as much as I want as well, and put them in my freezer. And I didn't have to go line up at the grocery store to stock up on fish.
Yeah. And we know it's not farmed. So it's not like I'm going to the grocery store and buying farmed trout or farmed salmon. This is wild, coming up from the lake, and we're able to catch them in our stream.
Either way, the point is that you can have fresh literal food, and I think a lot of homesteaders underestimate or undervalue the importance of having fish. Fish is such a good source of protein, omega-3s, 6s, all of the good fatty acids. It is super healthy. It is like very lean meat as well. It has all the good fats, but not the bad fats. It's very high in protein, and fish is just a very, very all-around good food for you, right? And I mean, go to the grocery store and look at the price of salmon. I mean, it is very expensive. Look at the price of perch. I mean, just go to a restaurant and order some fish and chips. I mean, that is probably $15 to $20 for one plate of fish and chips around here. And we live on the lake where it's abundant, right? So we just go ahead and we catch all the fish that we want from the stream that backs onto our property, so we don't have to go pay somebody or go out into the lake where there are so many rules and regulations and all of that. Because it backs onto private property, we pretty much can do whatever we want, and that's why it's so important to have a flowing body of water, especially a flowing body of water that has life, that has fish, that has crayfish or crawfish, if it has shellfish, anything like that is a huge value to your homestead, and it's highly underlooked.
Yeah, I've noticed some homesteaders, I've started to like dig ponds on their property and stock it with fish.
Yeah.
But then one of the main issues is not only the algae and controlling the water from getting stagnant, is the fish can also get sick in ponds. But having a stream, a river, a body of water that actually flows through your property, it's constant fresh water. Like our property, if you've noticed from some of our videos, we're on top of a hill, and because we're situated on top of a hill, our well has a tendency in the summer of kind of running dry, especially in the hot months when we're not getting too much rain and it's just pure sun for weeks on end, no rain.
There's usually at least a 3-week period where the well dries up, because it's a shallow well, and because we're on top of a hill, it's not very deep and it doesn't fill up as quickly. So usually there's like 3 weeks in August where there's no water. But guess what? Because we have a flowing body of water that is flowing all the time, we can at least fill up the well with the water to use for showers and watering the plants and cleaning and things like that.
Yeah, so we purchased a pump, and we pump the water directly from the hill, and we have a filter that it goes through, and then after the filter we can fill up our well with it, or use that fresh water to
just
water our plants, water our garden, our animals,
and to shower and things like that too. Like you may not be drinking the water, because we buy bottled water regardless. We just like having fresh bottled water, and we like having it in our little dispenser, so we don't drink the well water regardless. But if we wanted to, we could, because it's fresh flowing water, it's clean, and even if we're not drinking it, we can use it to water all of our gardens, we can use it to shower, we can use it for the animals, so many different things, because water, if you have water that runs out, you really quickly realize how important water is.
Like to fill our well, if it runs dry, to hire like a company to come and fill it with city water, it's $150 to fill our well.
Yep, just one time to fill it up. One time for one thing of water.
And like we said, in the dry months, if it's really dry, no sun at all, no rain at all, that well can dry up in sometimes 2 weeks.
Exactly.
So imagine twice in 1 month filling up your well. That's $300 right there.
Just for water.
Yeah.
Just for water alone. So yeah, if you don't have a deep well that fills up rather quickly, or if you're in a place where you have a lot of garden beds, a lot of livestock, a lot of areas that you have to water frequently, sometimes the well water isn't enough. And if you're not on a well, let's say if you're on city water, because a lot of homesteads are on city water, you don't want to be running city water, racking up your bill all the time, and having to pay, like we said, $200-$300 just for water every month. So it comes in really handy to have a flowing body of water.
Yeah, like it's a blessing to have a well on your property too, that you're not having city water and you're not getting it chlorinated and with fluoride in it. So having a well is great, but it can run dry. So us having the stream is perfect, because we can use that water when we need it.
Exactly.
So our plan is next spring, probably, we're gonna install like a hand well down there.
Yeah.
And so that we don't have to like actually pump it from the stream, so we could have it right by the coop where all the animals are, just to make it more convenient. And we're not running hoses across the property, because we've measured it from the stream to go to our well is 370 feet. So that's quite a distance.
And that is uphill too. So
yeah,
that's the hard part for us.
So even though we have a really strong water pump, it struggles to bring it all the way up the hill, and it slows down quite a bit. So that's one issue that we're having, pumping it all the way up, but it can still fill the well. It just takes a long time because it slows down, considering it has to go 370 feet and it's uphill.
Yeah, I think if it was 370 feet flat, it wouldn't be a problem.
No.
It's just that because we're on a very steep hill. But I think once we put in the hand well, we can at least hook up some other attachments to that, and then that
Exactly.
will make the distance that it has to travel a little
Yeah.
bit less. But anyway, we just wanted to make this quick video to tell you guys the importance of having water, and especially flowing water. Even if let's say you have to dig a pond, that's still better. At least you can stock it with fish, and you can do what you have to do to get it up to scuff so that it's functioning properly. But just having water in general, other than in your well, is a good idea on a homestead, because you never know, something could happen, the wells break, whatever.
Yeah, it's one of those things I don't ever hear any off-gridders and homesteaders really talking about, is that when you are going to purchase a property, that's one of the things that they should try and look for, because that's key.
It is.
Having
it's super important.
Free, fresh water.
It's understated how important it is.
And
yeah.
that water brings meat that can fill
Literally.
your freezer.
And it's funny because the same meat that they catch out of the lakes end up in the grocery stores, and then people think it's safer somehow or whatever because it's in a grocery store, but it's the exact same meat that you can go catch yourself and bring it and just clean it and put in your freezer, right? Guys, just take into consideration before you buy a property or look at a property, see if there's water on there, and then think about all of the different uses you have on a daily basis for that water.
You know how many people will purchase a property and that's one of the things that they don't think about, or they just assume, oh yeah, I could just dig a well. But even there's no guarantee that there is actually enough flowing water underneath you that you can actually dig a well.
Yeah,
there's so many homesteaders that have videos talking about the same thing, that they've spent almost 20 grand digging for trying to hit water, and they just can't.
Exactly. And imagine if you had that flowing water there, you probably wouldn't even need to dig a well. You just need your pump and a couple of filters, and you could fill up your own well. You know what I mean? Or you could fill up a cistern or something like that. So there are options when it comes to water on the homestead, especially flowing water. So make sure if you see a property and you have to compare it to other properties that don't have water, just keep an extra eye out for that property, because it's probably more valuable to you in the long run than you think initially.
Exactly.
So that's pretty much all we wanted to say, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for this video. Make sure you like and let us know what you guys think. Do you think having running water on your property, like a stream or a river, is as important as we do? Let us know what you think, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Thanks for watching.
Peace.